Hello, and thank you for coming to this particular episode here on the Political Napalm. So, there's a few things I want to get through in this particular video. I'll try to go through them relatively quickly so that it will not be particularly long, uh, but there is definitely some stuff to go through here. So, as of last night, Trump was in Charlotte, North Carolina again, the same arena that he was at back in 2020. I believe it was February of 2020, slightly ahead of COVID. It was around the time that he was saying COVID is the next Democrat hoax. And I say it like that because that is the proper way to say it. That is how he said it. And admittedly, a lot of people on the left spun it that he said COVID is a hoax. He did not. He claimed that COVID or the hype around COVID was a Democrat hoax, that they were bumping it up, but it didn't need to be. And we can all see how that completely exploded in his face. He pulled the pin on the grenade and he threw the pin away and looked down, and the grenade was still in his hand. And there you go. And it is a matter of fact. It is a proven fact when he said to Bob Woodward, "Hey, this is going to be really bad," and he played it off as being a nothing burger to the United States population. And when it was quickly becoming not a nothing burger, of course, he made it all political with the missteps of HCQ and then ivermectin and people who were doing a run on hydroxychloroquine. And I don't know if you know this, but all the extra HCQ that we got that never went anywhere because it was never approved for anything, we dumped our storage of it. Our warehouses of HCQ got dumped on Brazil, and they didn't even use it for anything. It sat in a warehouse by the airport where it was delivered in Brazil and never even got used. So not even Brazil bought in on the HCQ hype. So yeah, that's the last time he was in Charlotte that I can recall. That's what he was doing. And typical of then and a little bit now, his press secretary at the time, or whoever was running his campaign, I think it was a guy, I don't think it was Caleb McEnany, he had said there were tens of thousands of people there for the Trump rally. And yesterday I saw somebody refer to this rally as, and this is just a regular Twitter rando, 63K people are there. Folks, this arena in Charlotte, North Carolina, and you can look it up yourself. I will always encourage people to do their own research because that's what intelligent, critical thinking people do, what fact checking people do. This arena in Charlotte holds about 9,600 some odd people. It's like maybe 9,660, something like that. So forget about the 63K Twitter rando. But in 2020, Trump's campaign had said there were tens of thousands of people at this rally. That is an impossibility because the building can only hold 9,600 at maximum occupancy. And there is no way you're going to get about 11,000 people just hanging out in the parking lot. How do you have a parking lot that can hold more people than the arena is built for? Total crap, total BS. And as you can see from the footage of the Wednesday rally in Charlotte, it wasn't even full. So any amount of rally size stuff that says that it was close to 10,000 people or more is a lie, just the way that it was in 2020. He did it then and he's doing it again. But at this rally, this is the first rally appearance that he's done since the Pennsylvania incident. Bandages were off. There were no Band-Aids on it, no Kotex pads. His ear is perfectly fine, to which Christopher Wray was in front of Congress today going, yeah, the Secret Service doesn't even think it's a bullet. Likely it was shrapnel. And you know what? Reality proves it. Whether you're a Trumper or not, you are not regenerating cartilage and ear material that quickly. There would be quite an extensive amount of damage still visible if that was a 223 or a 556 round. it absolutely was shrapnel in some form. And the bandage is off, and it's proving it. And Eric went from saying they nearly shot my dad's ear off to no, he didn't even need stitches. That was all around the time of the RNC. It is absolutely a cult if people are going to start wearing bandages on their ear in solidarity for somebody who didn't even need the bandage on his ear. It is a cult when people are running around these rallies with diapers and golden diapers and t-shirts that say real men wear diapers. They wanted to attack Biden's fitness, but Trump's bowel fitness has been on the docket since way back when he was doing the WWF stuff with Vince McMahon. Noel Kessler really did a good job of pointing a lot of that stuff out. So, yeah, rally size aside, his new rhetoric is, of course, exactly what you would expect. It begins to get misogynistic. It begins to get racist. And right now, the Republican Party has a really bad problem of racist and misogynistic language very much out in public when it comes to VP Harris. Even sexual things are being said about her. Essentially hoary, slutty things are being attached to her. And we're going to, if you don't believe that, if you want to believe in humanity and think that the Republicans or the right is not doing that, you're going to see it shortly. So Trump is like, we have a new victim to defeat, line Kamala Harris. New victim to defeat, new contender to defeat. I mean, if they're a victim, it sounds like they are already defeated. Why are you beating a dead horse? I don't think this is the most appropriate language here. You could say we have a new victim, line Kamala Harris, and she's playing the victim card or doing the Goldberg thing of like, if you're next, you were his next victim. I don't even know what he's going for on this. The most incompetent and far left vice president in American history. Fear mongering. Prove it. Where are your statistics that she is far left and everything? Oh, she's a radical left lunatic. She's crazy for her positions on abortion and immigration. Mispronounced her name repeatedly. And by the way, we're going to go over this abortion stuff that he's still peddling in 2024, and I cannot believe he still thinks this is something to talk about, considering how many times it's fact-checked. But he's still going with it, just the same way he's still going with the Hannibal Lecter stuff, the push-up grunty sex noises thing that he does. These people have to be so bored with him by now, because it's just literally Trump on repeat the entire time. It is no new material. It's recycled material. And the only thing that is new is now he gets to attack Harris instead of Biden. And that's not good for him because the age, the mental fitness, the physical fitness stuff now is squarely on his shoulders, not interspersed or spread evenly like peanut butter between him and Biden. And you can have both sides going, well, Biden rides a bike. And then the other side's, yeah, but he fell off the bike. And then the other side's like, well, what is Reapy Duke and why are there airports during the Revolutionary War? And then the other side is like, well, he, said the wrong person here, or he said President Trump when he meant Vice President Harris. That conversation ends, and that is a big conversation that was being had, and for that to end is not good for Trump and very, very good for Harris. The attack to record on the border and everything. I mean, that is not racist or misogynistic. That's just statistical and opinion and everything like that. So, that's valid. I believe you can bring that up, but deadly destruction of America's borders is completely, totally disqualifying. And he was saying she was a criminal and stuff like that. They have just come out with the stats and shown that border crossings or border events have continued to dip under Biden, and they are lower than what it was under Trump. So that is not maybe a good thing to try to bring up. Yeah, this whole Donald Trump's going to have a more milder tone and call for unity post Pennsylvania event, that has not happened. We knew it was never going to happen, and anybody who tried to claim that it was going to happen is a complete idiot. He's also trying to back out of the already on the books September debate, whereas the left is just going to simply insert her in Biden's spot. Trump has gone like, well, I agreed for Biden then, and I don't want to do it now. I want to remind you that he used to say of Biden anywhere, anytime, any place. So he was fine with it being on ABC because he thought he could just steamroll him again. Now that it's VP Harris, who is going to call him out on his crap and is already calling him out on his crap through their campaign communication, she and her campaign waste no time. He said something, boom, she's got something out instantly and tears it down. And it is so much more refreshing than Biden's campaign, which was letting it go. I think Biden's campaign could have pushed more for what he has actually done for 4 years, and also pushed back on Trump lies and been very incisive about it, have a little more youth to it, and cut it to the quick. Biden just wasn't doing that. He was playing a little bit too much by the rules, but way, way above the table. VP Harris is playing it closer to the line. I don't think she's going to go below the belt, so to speak. I think she's going to keep everything above the belt, but she's going to get it closer to that midline than Biden's campaign was doing. The abortion stuff. He, again, is saying they're having 8th month abortion, 9th month abortions, post-birth abortions. First of all, okay, that's murder. That's infanticide. That's killing. Nobody is being aborted after their birth. Today, prior to reading this Wikipedia article, it sort of hit me. I was watching Trump talk on mute, and I was seeing the captions go by, the closed captions, the CCs, and I went, oh my God, am I finally understanding what he means about that? It started to dawn on me. I was like, wait a minute. Is he using the noun afterbirth, the physical, biological matter afterbirth? Did he hear something about afterbirth once and think in his head it has something to do with killing a viable birth, an actual living baby? Did he maybe hear like the afterbirth was thrown out, or people keeping the afterbirth, or just, no, we don't want to keep the afterbirth? And it sort of began to just hit me in my head. I was like, oh my God, is this man that stupid that he's hearing things about the biological material afterbirth, the noun, and thinking that it has something to do with a baby, like an adjective of the baby? It is a baby after birth. And thinking that it's somehow killed or disposed of. I was like, oh my God, is that what he's doing? Is that why he keeps going on about this? Because he's not a bright man and he's done stuff like this. But reading this Wikipedia article, when I wanted to back up my stance with actual statistics, I think I maybe understand what he's actually going about. I still think the afterbirth thing could be a thing, but I think he is confusing a situation in which, for medical reasons, a late-term abortion happens and the fetus is temporarily viable, but work is not done to resuscitate it or keep it alive because it was an attempted abortion where once the fetus was aborted and out of the womb, it had some amount of life to some degree, and then that life did not continue. As you can see here, existing U.S. laws punish execution as a homicide. U.S. abortion experts refute the claim that born alive fetus is a common event and oppose these laws. Only 1.3% of abortions occur after the 21st week of pregnancy. And there are major reasons why that would happen. And I want to talk about this in just a moment. Um, Sometimes they give birth to a fetus that may survive briefly. However, under 22 weeks, long-term survival is really not possible prior to 22 weeks. Now, for Trump to go on this attack again, and maybe misunderstanding afterbirth or this abortion which results in a temporary live birth, whichever way he heard this and he's thinking about this in his head, it goes to show you that anybody who talks about end stage abortion like this, late stage abortion, and say women are having this, they're doing this, I'm hearing that they're doing this, they are, first of all, they're completely demeaning the medical profession to think that doctors are just allowing this to happen. Surgeons, doctors, nurses, OBGYN, whoever would be involved in this process, it is reducing them to ants, basically. Oh yeah, we're just, we're going to do this. Nobody in there, no medical professional in their right mind is just like, yeah, okay, you want to abort an 8-month baby. All right, let's do that. But aside from that, it is an extreme misogynistic attack on women because it reduces them to just being the oven that a piece of bread is coming from. If you think a woman who wanted to get pregnant and is carrying a baby to an 8th or 9th month does not have some form of mental or emotional attachment to that baby, has not gone through 8 or 9 months of physical hell to gestate that baby, and is just going to decide not to keep it, like flipping on a light switch or choosing hamburgers for dinner instead of pizza because you want to go out, but you're hungry and you don't really feel like pizza anymore, so you're getting a hamburger. To reduce it to that easy of a choice and be like, I'm waking up today and instead of having some Starbucks, I'm going to go have an abortion. That means women have no emotions, no positive mental states. They are simply some weird Pink Floyd The Wall animation where it is just a march of thoughtless, brainless, emotionless, heartless hammers just marching to the abortion clinic. That is what anybody who says this is thinking. And it is such a vile attack on women to just portray it that way. Anybody who's having a medical procedure like an abortion at 8 or 9 months like this, there is a serious reason for it to happening. And it's not simply because, yeah, I just don't want this anymore. Any medical professional would have serious conversations with a woman who seemed to be displaying that attitude. And if it is somebody who did not want the baby, why wait and go through all of that stress and anguish? Why wait until the 8th or 9th month before deciding it? And if you wanted the baby, then again, why wait that long and then decide not to, unless there is a physical life or death medical situation, or the fetus is not going to be non-viable if born, or the woman could potentially die. And the statistics prove it. And long-term survival between 22 and 23 weeks is only 2 to 3%. And it only goes up to 20% a week or two after that. When abortions happen at this stage and the baby is temporarily alive, they have a high chance of having brain damage, bowel damage, digestive tract issues. It is overwhelming that prior to about 23, 24 weeks, a fetus that survives an abortion is not going to have life, period. And the statistics show only 1.3 of abortions occur in this. And anything born partially alive at around 20 to 21 weeks is just not going to survive. So, again, ignore Trump when he talks about 8 or 9 month abortions, especially abortions after birth. It is completely stupid. Um, Here's a video you need to hear. This is not from Charlotte, uh, because it's outdoors and you can see the wind blowing and everything. But listen to Trump just basically boil down his candidate, the candidate he's opposing over here.
And by the way, Kamala will not be your first female president. She will not be your first female president. It's not the way it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to have a socialist. Look, we're not going to be a socialist nation. We're not going to have a socialist president, especially any female, especially any female.
Okay, now granted that especially female was an edit added there twice, but we're not going to have a socialist president, especially a female socialist president. First of all, they're continuing to use these dumb buzzwords of communist and socialist. They're not understanding what they're doing. We're not going to have a communist leadership. We're not going to have socialist leadership. America is a capitalist society backed with some socialist bailouts to prevent disasters like the car industry, the housing industry, the banking industry, Trump, and the farmland industry with his disastrous trade war against China. Socialism is just simply a net in the United States. Plus, it does more things that we rely on every day that isn't just about being a net, like roads and schools. Everything that your taxes go into locally. Fixing a pothole that is chewing up your car all the time. But to do this 1950s Red Scare buzzword stuff, and then to just make it sexist about especially a female, him and JD Vance are just killing themselves when it comes to women voters in this country.
Especially a female. Socialist president, we're not going to have it. We're not going to put up with it. It's not going to happen.
I don't even remember him using that kind of terminology against Hillary. I don't remember him ever saying, like, we're not going to have a female president. We're not going to have a female president, especially her. I was just like, but to do it against VP Harris, I think he's beginning to live in some great fear of losing to her, and the wheels are beginning to spin in the mud a little bit. In terms of mental fitness, look at him totally botch the word abortion here.
Lion Kamala is also a total radical on a word called, do you know this, right? A word called what? Abortion.
He almost went to go say abortion or something. Now, people in this thread, which you can't see the replies, the Republicans or the right-wingers in this thread were like, no, he was trying to do crowd participation. He was pandering to the crowd. He was like, call and answer stuff going on, like WWE, like, here we are, it's so great to be back live in Phoenix, Arizona, and then everybody cheers, yay, Phoenix, Arizona. That's not what he was doing here. He was doing his typical brain fart moment where he was searching for the word, and he used the crowd to buy himself a little bit of time over there. You know he does this. You can go back and look at past ones, especially the Origins Oranges one, where he kept saying the oranges in the Mueller report, the oranges, Mueller report, Mueller, whatever he was saying at the time, oranges. He wanted to say origins, and he would try to correct himself in that one, and he actually couldn't even come out of the other side of the correction correctly. He was like the orange, and he said it again anyway. That's what he's doing over here. No, he's not trying to get audience participation. He was flubbing the word abortion and trying to say imbortion. And he like part of his head, and it was like, hey, Donnie, that's not right. And he got crowd participation to cover for himself over there. So the mental fitness talks all on his comb overhead now at this point. At the top of the episode, I was telling you about there's now even, there's sexual attacks on VP Harris too. this is completely, I mean, this isn't behind a closed door. This isn't a tight circle of friends that use this language because they are this way and they know they're not really getting caught, and everybody in their group uses the same language. This is on a broadcast of Fox Business, and I want you to hear what this dude here, left of center, says, who looks like his hair was probably tipped blonde about 10 years ago with that haircut. He's got such a douche cut. Listen to what this guy says about VP Harris, who is the vice president of the United States and was an effective prosecutor out in California. Listen to this reduction here.
Yeah, and then there's the DEI press secretary telling you that the DEI vice president is the future of the party here. And so the future looks kind of dim for the Democrats here, but this is no shocker either. Kamala Harris, she's the original Haktua girl. That's the way she got where she is. And the party's going downhill if it's in her hands.
That was tough. That was harsh.
Yeah, and then there's...
That was tough. That was harsh. You should say that's unacceptable. If you don't know, if you're not familiar with the phrase, he's basically saying she is the original person to provide sexual favors for escalation up, political and economic ladders over there. That's what he's saying. He's saying she did knee pad related things to escalate her career, political or lawyer wise in what she used to do. That is completely disgusting. That is just out and out on public TV like that to imply oral favors on national TV, and that's how somebody was getting ahead. Frankly, it's not surprising, but it's disgusting. And when Biden had not dropped out yet, and Biden kept saying, "I am the candidate," and some people were like, "We need VP Harris," or somebody like that. When I said you guys don't know the vitriol that is coming if the switch happens, call me Nostradamus because it's happening. I see all this stuff happen in right-wing circles, but it tends to be lower key, and they think they're in private a little bit more. And this whole like Joe and the Ho stuff gotta go. I knew it was all going to come to a head. It was way down at the bottom of the beer glass. It's now the froth. It's now the foam, the head at the top, and you can't help but miss it. And what used to be said in smaller groups and everything, and had largely faded away, like past 22 or so, nobody was really talking about VP Harris as much. It was all just Biden and the mental fitness and the physical fitness and all that stuff. She'd kind of disappeared off to the side, and this wasn't happening. And now it is right back, and it's even worse because to attach Haktua to her is, I mean, frankly, it's just disgusting. It's disgusting to even say in, private company, but just to put it out there on TV and everything. I don't know how this guy shows his face anywhere. He's probably proud of it, and amongst his peers, he's probably quite proud of it. But yes, this is a misogynistic pig thing to say. Now, it's not going to get any better. So that was Fox Business. Now listen to what Fox News is saying.
Where do you got a question? She will not show up for the Prime Minister's joint session of Congress today. She'd rather address in the summer a sorority, a college sorority, like she can't get out of that. Where do you got a question? She will not show up for
that's
the Prime
not
Minister's...
college that he says. A lot of the right-wingers are trying to say, no, he said college, but I want you to listen to it slowed down to 1/4 speed. Listen carefully.
In the summer, a sorority, a college sorority.
You heard it. It's the word color with the ED at the end of it. It is not college. It is colored. It, period. There is no defense of it. We are back to the 50s. This is language my parents had to hear and see on signs at water fountains and bathrooms and outside of malt shops and everything. We have regressed to steak and potatoes on the table for every dinner, and hoop skirts, Frankie Valley, and 57 Chevys. And I'm sure there's people out there who want to return to it. It's lovely. But for all the things that come with it, this is what should have been left behind in the 50s and 60s somewhere. And I mean, maybe I can give him the benefit of the doubt in that he tried to choke back that word and switch it to college at the end there and maybe failed. And like part of his brain was like, yeah, we're going to say this word. And the other part of his brain went, no, and tried to chew on it and choke it a little bit. But no, it absolutely came out as color with the ED at the end. There is no doubt about it. Idge and erd have a different sound. And even at 0.25 speed, it's an erd very, very clearly. So I cannot believe this is the society that I am part of that does these two things on live TV, which is gross. And wrapping it up over here, it has long been believed that MAGA influencer Joey Manorino, who likes to believe everything on the right is alpha, including himself, yet there is very much a commercial out there where a hair restoration specialist is basically laying sod on top of his head. I can tell you I have the exact mental image of how that hair right up there was put on his stupid head, because I've seen it, because he's bald. And yep, watch them just basically lay sod on his head, roll it from front to back, and get it stuck in there. This tweet came out from Joey's account. I'm a true Black American woman. I've been black all my life. I was born a poor black child. Yay, Steve Martin. I was born black. I'll die black. My mommy black. My daddy black. I'll never cast a ballot for that Kamala Harris woman as long as I live. Trump all the way, all day, every day. It had been believed for a long time that Joey was also Laverne Spicer. And because they used a lot of very similar language, like child, with a bunch of I's and L's and E's at the end of it, they both were shown to have used that exact same term with 99% the same spelling. And then here he is confirming it by basically posting as Laverne from his account. He got rid of it and tried to say a friend had been logged in on his phone and like didn't log out, or like his account was logged in and a friend went and borrowed it and accidentally posted under his account instead of their own. Yet nobody believes it. This confirms a rumor that has been dogging Joey for a long, long time. Very, very similar to that Dean guy who said that I'm a gay black man and was a gay black man under Obama, and he never did a damn thing for me, but the Republican Party does, and they love me. I forget his last name, but you can search for it really easy. It is the exact same circumstance. Is that lies? It's all it is. It's lies. It's psyop. It's fakery. It's tap dancing clowns on a main stage. Nobody would believe this stuff anyway. It's Candace level stuff. And then finally, yes, this is a opinion piece, absolutely, but that is not the point of what we're going to discuss here. This author, Jason Riley, on July 9th and July 23rd, basically posted hugely contradictory opinions. And it goes to show you what is going on with all media in this country that is all mainstream media and not independent. On July 9th, prior to Biden making his announcement, he's like, the best candidate would be VP Harris. She'd be great with black voters. They're souring on Democrats, so why not? She's close to Trump in the polls. And, I'm sure it was like, physical fitness, mental fitness won't be an issue. And the article will be all the reasons why Harris would be way better than Biden. That was July 9th. Then when Biden finally does say, okay, I'm dropping out, VP Harris is in, tag in. Then he turns around and says, it isn't the change the Democrats needed. The issues on crime, the immigration, inflation, it's just going to be failed left-wing stuff. So it was, yay Harris, yay Harris, yay Harris. Oh, no, wait. Harris still sucks. Outrage farming. This is this clickbait stuff. It is engagement farming and everything like that. This is what is typically angled at right-wingers because they're not going to do the research. They're not going to go, wait a minute, didn't this guy say this a while back? And they're not going to go look it up. If this was aimed at the left, it's incredibly disappointing. But this is the kind of tactics the right does in their messaging. And to see this happen so blatantly, just a number of days apart, I mean, not even 20 days apart over here, this is absolutely pathetic. And I encourage people to do their own research and keep their eyes and ears more open than stuff like this. Don't get swayed by this. Vet your sources a little bit. Increase your sources. Don't just be a Fox News or CNN or a Newsmax or an OANN type person or what you would consider a far left rag. I don't even know what is a far left rag at this point. Just be a bit more open-minded than this person thinks you are. This is insulting to anybody with intelligence to do something like that because she would be the best and now she isn't enough. Well, I haven't read the article to see what he thinks should be the best, but over here, she is the best. That means there is no other choice. She is the top, the best thing to do, but now isn't the change. So then who is the change, which then immediately conflicts with being the best. So that's it. I'm done. Thanks for watching this episode here on the Political Napalm.